I probably could have looked up the move list in the time it took you to do all that.
Okay, we're back for more bumbling.
Yep.
Fuck it, random
Two dudes
now.
that barely remember how to play the game they're playing.
For me, for Skullgirls, like when during its development, I was not really sold on the whole like, hey, the roster consists entirely of girls with jiggly titties.
That certainly seems to be what people thought it was at first, which it isn't. It kind of is, but isn't really.
You picked Valentine. It's not inaccurate.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying it's not. There aren't people in the game. I'm just saying I don't know if that was really the intended focus.
Wasn't it just like the art director's thing?
Yeah, and the art director's female too, so that makes it even better.
Like jiggly titties and meaty thighs.
Evidently.
So
All
like
the other artwork I've seen from her looks that way, so
like a
happens to be how she draws.
It's like a female Daigo Aikino.
I guess. Which one's Daigo Aikino? What did he do again?
He's the one who keeps making Chun-Li's thighs progressively thicker.
Oh, I'm a big fan of him.
He does the Street Fighter 3 art and also the EX artwork, I believe, for 3.
Okay. Yeah, I am A-okay with him.
I like his style, but like I am pretty sick of Chun-Li's thighs getting progressively larger. Like now they're just comically big.
Well, she keeps kicking, so her legs keep getting bigger. That seems logical to me.
And that's why everybody is getting ridiculously muscular, because they keep fighting and working out all the time.
Yep.
Even characters who aren't actually doing that. Like Rufus. Rufus should theoretically not be as fat as he is, but
Well, he's probably stronger than he looks. Just, his muscles are under a lot of fat.
I was gonna say, it's not even like the stout kind of muscular. It's just like not even Hollywood fat or muscular either.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't really see him having like a powerlifter's build. That's a little absurd.
Yeah.
Let's not even get into like Bob from Tekken.
Bob is amazing though.
Yeah, I mean he's awesome. No mistake, but he's ridiculous and absurd. And there's no way that his character should work the way that it does.
Well, at least Tekken 7 will be coming out soon, and we'll have something else we can do a few episodes for.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Suddenly Akuma.
What we need to try at some point, we need to see how viable SharePlay is for one of these games. Because like King of Fighters 2000, there's a PS4 version of that out, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it has online play though.
It doesn't, but you could do SharePlay and get the same effect. Assuming that SharePlay doesn't lag too much.
I do not know, actually. I don't think I've used SharePlay like at all yet.
I've never used SharePlay, that's what I'm saying. I'd want to see how viable it is, basically.
Hilariously, I haven't really used a lot of the functions the PS4 has, mostly because, like, it's stuff that doesn't actually matter to me.
Yeah. Well, there's some stuff that, like, SharePlay that I'm curious about, but, like, I don't have a reason to use it, so I haven't used it. Except I'm dead, not you.
I like how they just recycled the sound effect for Painwheel's power-up thing there.
That's okay.
In a kind of like notable way. You could hear the sound like abruptly stopping and restarting.
Yep.
Time to operate.
I'm trying to think of like other stuff that I could put on the agenda aside from this and like Dead or Alive, but I really can't think of anything.
Do what now?
I was trying to think of more things we could bro versus bro in.
Like I said, we could test and see how the how the setup works. And I don't know if you got Last Blade or not, but I'd be down for that too.
I didn't actually pick it up.
This may sting.
I don't remember if I mentioned it, but like
Everyone good to go?
I had the Dreamcast version because I'm like that was when I was on my big like SNK is awesome kick.
Which
So-
it is, but
Yeah, so I was basically buying like whatever SNK game I could find,
oh,
and then after a while I'm just like, it's Last Blade is okay, but like not really my. I'm not gonna say it's not my
not
thing,
your bag.
but like it didn't keep me in. Nothing was keeping me invested. I had the same problem with Mark of the Wolves too.
Which is a shame because that's a fun game too.
It's my turn, dear.
It's
I thi-
very
I-
different though.
I think the problem is like once King of Fighters happened, it's just like I don't care about any other SNK fighting game now because I don't need to.
Well, aren't they doing a? I'm trying to think. Like, for some reason, I seem to think Real Bout was considered for one of those things at some point.
It might be.
If it is, I'm super duper on board for that. That's, as far as Fatal Fury is concerned, that one's easily my favorite. The Real Bout series.
Don't even try.
I mostly remember Real Bout because I played the I played Real Bout Special a lot.
I think Special is probably my favorite one out of the three. Not that Real Bout 2 was bad, just that they started to kind of play around with stuff at that point. And Special is probably the game in its purest form.
I mostly remember Real Bout Special because that was the first game I played with Yamazaki in it, who became basically my favorite character.
Yep. Which is weird because he was in like a good number of the games prior to that.
I think
Fatal Fury 3, I
Yeah, I
recall
was gonna
correctly.
say, yeah, I believe that's where he started.
That's why, right there. That's what you're supposed to be, that's what I was supposed to be doing.
Wait, what?
There's a whole setup thing with Beowulf. Basically, she throws that chair out and you can do a bulldog onto it. And it builds up to something else.
I'm trying to think, like... I remember prior to... I believe... King of Fighters 99, the last game I had played was 95.
Okay. See, I didn't really even play King of Fighters for a good long time, up until relatively recent. Because, like, I played... I think the first King of Fighters game I played, and you're gonna think this is hilarious. First King of Fighters game that I remember playing is King of Fighters 2001. That's the first one I ever played. And yet somehow, I still like the series.
I think actually originally I played 94 a long time ago when I think it was when I was in middle school. I remember that because the bowling alley I played in the league at had it.
Okay.
It was one of
That's
those.
funny. That's why I played a lot of my fighting games too. Just not that one.
It was one of those actual like, one of those MVS machines with 4 different games in it.
Yeah. See, I did a lot of arrowing on one of those.
Egrets, get ready.
Yeah, for me it was King of Fighters 94 and a lot of Metal Slug, even though I am fucking awful at Metal Slug.
Let's see. Our system mostly had arrowing. It had Baseball Stars 2 on it. It had what else was there? Samurai Showdown. 1 and 2. Those are the ones that I typically saw on there. So those were good games at the time.
Yeah, there was a.
Oh, that was the other game that they're doing. It's Samurai Showdown 6.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna have. It's basically a port of the PlayStation 2 version. It's not gonna have built-in online play, we'd have to try the share play if we were going to do that. Which I'd much rather just play match play if we're going to do that.
At this point, it's like, SNK, come on, guys, really?
Right. Well, see, that's not their fault. It's a port of the PlayStation version.
Yeah.
So
same with
if that's all they're doing, then yeah, it's not going to happen. Because I don't know who's actually spearheading those. If it's Sony that's spearheading them, then that's their fault.
It's basically the same deal with Capcom versus SNK 2.
Yep. Which that just made me so sad.
It's like, why not just take the Japanese PS2 version and put the English language script in it so we can still have online play?
Well, it's not going to work the same. I don't know if you actually want that.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't think it's going to work the way you think it'll work.
It will definitely work the way I want it to.
So you think it's not going to work very well at all? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
that's what you mean, whether you mean it or not.
Well, that's what we get, but it's not what I meant.
Uh-huh.
Which is really weird to me, because I can't imagine it would really take as much work as they make it out to be.
Yeah, but then we don't know anything about game development, so...
Well, I kind of do, but not on that end of the spectrum.
Yeah, not on that level. Like I said, I'm not... Like I said, of course I want these things, but I know that it's often more work than I think it would be.
But hey,
not only do they have to do it, they have to make it actually work too.
But hey, at least we're getting Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
Yeah, that's a game I did not expect to get. I thought they were kind of done after 3. It's not really Marvel vs. Capcom 4, but yeah.
It basically might as well be 4.
Yeah, except it's more of like a step, lateral or backward step than it is a forward step. So I get why they didn't number it 4.
Personally, I don't think that's how.
Because they went back to 2 characters. They're going with what feels like a different roster.
I feel like you can't back out of that. You can't just be like, okay, well, we're just gonna give this a subtitle instead of a number. It's like, no, fuck you. It's basically Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
It's the 4th Marvel vs. Capcom game.
Yes, basically. That's what
I
call
know.
that.
Guilty Gear did it.
Well, Guilty Gear also went with an unusual naming convention.
True, but they still did it. They said Guilty Gear, they said Guilty Gear X, then they said Guilty Gear XX,
and then they're like,
and then they said Guilty Gear Xrd, except none of the other games that happened before that actually mattered.
Yeah. There was also a legitimate reason why they couldn't do Triple X.
Yes, obviously.
So
it's more the fact that even though it's a 3rd X game, it doesn't continue in the vein of the previous X game.
Yeah.
It continues after Guilty Gear 2 instead, and basically pretends the X games didn't happen.
Well, the X games still happen, but it's kind of like this really, really weird thing because they kept fucking re-releasing X2 a bunch of times. Because like X happened, and then anything that depicts the events of X in X2 basically supersedes it, sort of like Street Fighter Alpha 2 does for Alpha 1.
Oh, I think that's what it is. Stuff that happened in Guilty Gear X2 didn't happen because like Bridget doesn't seem to exist. Half the people that were in X2 don't seem to exist. So
I mean, X2
they've gone off on a weird tangent.
X2 happened, or some events in X2 happened, and then they're like, hey, let's do another re-release, except we're gonna add more story stuff, and that's how we got Accent Core.
Like I said, it's just that so much of the stuff that happened in Guilty Gear 2 had a bigger impact than anything else that had happened before that. That's the part that I don't get.
That is kind of Arc System Works' fault for riding that train as long as they did.
It occurred to me that I should probably move away from the gigantic bomb, but I
Too
didn't.
late. But neither did I, so...
And here we are,
We'll be right back after these messages.
trapped in the bed of our bad decisions.
Like, as much as I love Arc System Works, like, they really kind of dug themselves into a pretty big hole.
Yeah. Well, I think what it was, didn't Sega, like, own... they owned Sammy, and Sammy owned the rights to the series for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That was what the problem was.
And they had to make enough money to get the rights back.
Yep. Which, ironically, takes us back to SNK, that had to do the same thing.
Although they actually continued the storyline for King of Fighters the whole time.
Oh, yeah. But that was because, basically, they got bought out by Eolith. Then Playmore then Playmore happened. Playmore bought out the rights, and so Playmore was the company, and SNK Playmore was the brand. And now they're just SNK again. So that's nice.
And then...
Nobody blink.
And then they just made a complete duplicate of Tetsuo, and now SNK's like, oh my god, we're so sorry.
Yeah, that can't fly. We're gonna make a whole new character now. It plays exactly the same, but doesn't get a suit.
Yeah, we're not gonna get in trouble for this. Japan is very in love with its homages, but they took it a little far. Unnecessarily far, you could say.
I like how he tried to hit me in the back with the chair. That is a thing that wrestlers do.
It's true.
Yeah, there's some kind of thing. He's got a system, and it involves those explosions, the pyro that comes out.
The hype.
Yeah, the hype.
I like how he has like the completely blatant Hulk Hogan thing.
It's not just Hulk Hogan. Like
Hulk-
every other thing that he says is a wrestling reference.
Well, I mean the what thing.
Oh, that. You mean the holding his ear out for the fans?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a Hulk Hogan thing.
It's like some. I keep forgetting that Beowulf is like some weird kind of John Talbane grappler combination.
Yeah, he's like John Talbane, and then like he's like every other wrestler that ever existed. And three Wolf Moon. They had a lot of fun making him. I know that they had to.
I think my favorite thing for the Three Wolf Moon is still the Three Jesus Moon.
Yeah.
It was especially great actually seeing somebody with that shirt. I wonder if they're going to do a
Boy,
Skullgirls
I do
too.
not remember how Squiggly works at all.
Applause for our contestants.
On that note, next time on Radical Bromance, more bumbling about.
Yep.
Endless bumbling.
Mm-hmm.